So now what we are going to do next is to configure our router so that devices can start communicating with one another. As you can see, we have red down pointing arrows that indicates that the links are down. So let's go ahead and configure the routers. We go to the CLI of the router, and then press enter, and then we enable. We type in config T to go to the config mode. This is a console port. I enter, right, and then I put execute timeout. So if I say 60 minutes, it will time out after 60 minutes of inactivity. So if I don't touch this router for 60 minutes, it will log off, and then I'm going to lose my config mode. I'll have to reopen the config mode, which I find tedious. So I just give it a ridiculously long time. But in real world, this is not a good practice, because you want to make sure that your router is locked when you're not around it, right? But for the sake of this exercise, I will just give it a higher number. Let's just say 100, because I don't want it to log out if I decide to go to the bathroom or something. Let's exit this mode. And now we're going to start configuring. So the first thing I'll configure is this interface over here. Go to the interface itself. I'm going to say interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0. Okay. The first thing I will do is give it an IP address. So I'll say IP address, and we have agreed that the IP address of the gateway, because this will be the gateway, is 192.168.1.1. Okay, and I give it the subnet mask, which is a /24 network, right? So I say enter. Now I will bring the link up by typing no shut down. Okay. And then as you can see, we have a green arrow and then an amber dot over there. So we can go to this one now. And the interface is a serial interface this time. So it's going to be interface serial, or S for serial, 0/0/0. I get it from this over here. Enter. And now we are in the IF config mode again, right? Basically, I'm going to give it an IP address, and then I will go with this network now. Like I said, this will be a .1, and then I'm going to give it its appropriate subnet mask. This is just 255.0.0, because it's a /8. And then I will also bring the interface up. No shut. The interface is up, however, the link is still down because the other side of the router is down. So it won't show green until you bring this side up as well. So they have to be both up. We are done with this router for now. We'll come back for the access lists and other things, but for now we are done. So we close out. So we go to this router. So I'll start with this interface over here. Enable, then go to config mode. We can go to the interface itself. So it's interface serial 0/0/0. Hit enter. Now we are in the IF, which shows that we're in the interface config mode. Then we give it an IP address. It's a 10.0.0.2, right? Because this is a .1, we made this a .2, right? So we go here. So we give it also the subnet mask, right? Which is a /8. So now we hit enter. No shut the interface. As you can see, it goes up because both sides are up now. We can also just do the show. Okay, do show run. Okay, it shows the running config. I have my serial interface over here assigned an IP address. Okay, so the same thing will happen if I go here. Let's just quickly do this. You will see, since this case we have two interfaces. The first one was the gigabit Ethernet 0. It has an IP address, and so is the serial. And so is the serial 0/0. It has the IP address. So that's good so far. So now we need to assign IP these default gateways that we were typing over here. So the first one will be the gigabit Ethernet 2. As you can see, it moves over there. So this is the number we're looking for. Gigabit Ethernet 0/2. So we are going to assign it on router 2. So now I'm going to type in interface gigabit 0/2 and then hit enter. So now I left the previous interface, I'm in a new interface. So I'm going to give it an IP address of, I said this will be 8.0.0.1, right? And the subnet mask will be a /8. Okay, so that is fine. And I also need to no shut, so the interface goes up immediately. It has an IP address, it goes up. So now we move to okay, now we'll move to this one over here, right? The one that will be our Google web server. Same thing, interface G01, okay? IP address, let's double check. Yes, that's a 172. Now we'll give it the subnet mask is a /16, so it's gonna be like this, right? It's a /16. How do I know? I wrote it down the last time. But also when you type in your IP address, you can see it gives you that. So that's how I know it's a /16. We are good to go there. Oh, I need to no shut it. So you can see it's still red. And then it opens up. As you can see, everything is going up. So now we're gonna go to the gigabit Ethernet 0/0. So I jump again, interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0, IP address 102. Yes, I'm correct. I'm right on that one. So we run it, we enter. Oh, no shut it. Let's no shut. As you can see, everything is up, right? So everything is running, everything is up, right? So at this point, you would think we can just start communicating. Let's say this PC over here was to ping this one, it would happen, but it won't happen. Let me show you. Let's try to ping. Man, these numbers are just too long for me. I hate them. But it's fine. Let's ping Facebook. Okay, Facebook IP address is what? Man, that's just one tedious IP address telling you. Enter, you see, destination unreachable, right? The reason for it is because this router over here knows nothing about this network. Let me show you something. There is something called a routing table. We can access it. Okay, let's exit the interface config mode. Exit, right? So now if I say do show IP route or route, right? And then I hit enter. As you can see, this IP address is down here. Okay, now this router or router knows about the 10 network, right? It knows about it. It's connected directly to it. It also knows about the 192.168 router. It's connected to it, but it knows nothing about the 172 and the 102. So we have to introduce this to our routing table, and we do that the following way. We have to come here and say IP route or IP route. You give it the IP address that you want to introduce. So we want to give it this network IP address. And I said the network IP address of this one will be 172.117.0.0, right? That's the network address because it's a /16. So the last two octets reset to 0. Now we're going to give it the mask. And then we need to also tell it, look, how do you access this network? You access it through your serial port interface, which is this one. So we tell it the interface which it accesses that network. So we say S0/0/0 and we hit enter. Yes. So now if I go back to my IP route, show IP route, you will see we have a static route or a static route, right? In that static route, we have the network and it says it's connected to serial 0, which is true because this network connects through serial 0, even though it passes through another router over here. This is the way to that network. So that's correct. But we have two more networks. because we have this network, we have the 8 network, we have the 102 network. So we need to add the 8 network and the 102 network so that it can communicate to all the devices outside. So we are going to add another static root. Okay, maybe I should put it on the left. So we're going to introduce it to this network. So we're going to say IP root, and then you give it the network, which is 8. Network is actually this one. Okay, this is the network. It's not 8.8.8.0, it's 8.0.0.0. Now we give it the subnet mask, but we need to also tell it the interface. It's the same interface. It communicates with this network on that interface. So we need to give it the same interface of serial 0/0/0 and enter. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other one quietly because it's the same process. Yes, so now if I go back again and show the IP route, you will see I've got 3 static routes, the 8, the 102, and the 107, and they are all on my serial 0 interface, which is good, So, okay, so remember, we only introduced these networks to this router, okay? But remember, this router does not know about this network. So let me show you what I mean by that. So packets, when you ping from here, this network knows about this, but the packet will move all the way. But on its way back, it's looking for this network because the information is there on the packet to say that the destination should now be the source, because the source was this. So this, let's say you're pinging Facebook. Facebook will be like, okay, I know where this packet is coming from. It's coming from a network 192. It will tell its router to send it back to 192, but the router will be like, I don't know anybody called 192. This is why I say so. Because if I come to this router and say show IP route, right? IP route, no, I should type to show IP route. See, it's connected to 8, it's connected to 10, it's connected to 102, it's connected to 172, right? But it's not connected to 19. So it knows nothing about the 192 network. So when you ping, I want to show you how this happens, how this works. Give me a minute. So we are going to go ahead and ping again, right? This is Facebook IP address. So you will see the packet will move when I play this. It knows where to go. It goes there to Facebook, and now it's making its way back, but that router knows nothing about this network. So it will send a message saying, hey, I don't know where this guy is. I don't know where he lives, right? So I cannot give him his parcel, right? So that's what happened. So I need to tell this router to say, look, we have a network. So we say IP route, right? We have a network called 192.168.1.0 with this subnet mask, right, residing on your serial interface side, or you access that network on this interface, and then we say enter. Now if I were to ping, then the pings will go through. So let's ping Facebook. There you go. So it's going through. So every PC over here can ping any other. Let's ping Google. Man, these numbers are tedious, I'm telling you. Look at that. All right, I should have access. Don't tell me it's not gonna work. There you go. Okay, sometimes it takes a while to resolve the path because it's still sending the app messages and all that. Once the app cache is updated, everything runs smoothly. So as you can see, this time around, there's no time out, there's nothing. So that's good, that's good. So even this PC over here can ping PCs over there. So let's try that. So we say ping 192.168.1.11. Okay, we're trying to ping this PC over here. So if I say enter, you will see it will take some time, but it will eventually get there. There's a problem here. Okay, let me do this. Oh, yeah, it's the default gateway is wrong. It's the default gateway. See, I said we need to reset the 3 octets. So I resetted only this one. So that's my problem. You see, this is the mistake I made. So it's important to understand your subnet masks. So this is the correct gateway. So now it should work. Let's ping. Let's ping it. You're kidding me. Oh, there you go. Started to get worried now. All right, we got it right. So we can ping the pieces this side, we can ping the pieces from this other end. It's all working well, but that's not the end of it, right? We still need to start blocking certain websites, right? So let's go on to access lists now. We want to start blocking certain services, especially Facebook. So let's get to that.